Hi, everybody. I'm Alan Rosenberg, the talent coordinator, whatever else you want to call me nicely, from Big Apple. And today we have our next great panel. And I can say we've had some great panels today. One of our two great hosts at our panels, one being Ken Gale, just did the last panel. The other one is Peter Sanderson, writer. On the internet, writer on many magazines, books, on comics, and with him is one of my favorite writers. I just wanted to say this real quick. Back in the 70s, there was this explosion of young American writers. Englehart, McGregor, shout out a couple Gerber. And then in the 80s, when Alan Moore came along, suddenly we had Gaiman, we had Morrison, etc., all these great writers. Well,
British people.
In the late 90s and into now, the Americans have taken back, I think, the scene, including Brubaker, Bendis, and the gentleman here.
Secretly Canadians.
I didn't know that. Thank you. And this man here who I truly think if this was 50 years ago, he'd be the main writer for Mad Comic Books.
Thank you.
He is one of the best plotters in a twisted, wonderful way, and he just makes me laugh. And even when he doesn't make me laugh, I'm going, wow. Like the most recent issue of She-Hulk was not a laugh out loud issue, but it was just one of the coolest, funniest issues in years. He is a great writer who I happily discovered on Asylum.
Yeah, Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum. And ladies and gentlemen, Peter, introduce.
You just
You just did it.
No, his name.
What?
Dan Slott.
Oh, thank you.
Who, according to my research on the internet, Joe Quesada is called the most unknown superstar in comics.
Yes, I am.
And
I'm not even here right now.
And Alan has just told us all about how you're this great comedy writer, and you're here to plug today a book that, as I understand, has no laughs in it at all.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
A sequel to Civil War, which is
Avengers: The Initiative.
And how did this come about?
Pictures of Joe Quesada in a compromising position. No, it came about. I was talking with friend and editor Tom Brevoort, and Tom was telling me, because I had to know about Civil War stuff for She-Hulk. So I was being given privy to all these plots and important moments and how Civil War was going to end.
Which you can't tell us.
Which I can't tell you.
Even though you have to tell us about the sequel to the ending that you can't talk about.
Which I can't talk about. So we're gonna, we're gonna do a lot of finger puppets, secret signals.
Things that will only mean something to you in a few months.
Yeah, we're gonna actually give it to you in DC 52 code. Go home. So we're working on She-Hulk. I got to see all the Civil War plots, and Tom and I were talking about one day about what should be there when Civil War is over, because this really isn't going to be like most crossovers where you can just pick it up another month later and everything's back to normal. And no, the Civil War is going to change the landscape of the Marvel Universe, and it's going to be reflected line-wide. The Marvel U is going to be this is a mini-series that really has an effect on the characters and the stories. It's such a big effect, it drives people away. I'm kidding. No, it'll bring in more.
I love you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm pandering. What do you think about this book now? No, it's really going to have a big effect. And we were talking about what the Marvel Universe was going to be like afterwards. And as we started spitballing back and forth, Tom said, hey, that should be a book. Because there were certain pieces that really no one was going to use. And they're so important. And I was like, and as we talked about it, he said, this should be a book, pitch it at the next summit. And I went to the next summit, and I just went, here's my idea for what you should do. You should do the Initiative. And here's how the Initiative book should work. And Bendis was like the first guy to stand up and went, that's the best thing I've ever heard in one of these summits. We're doing this. And He's a writer. And so Bendis greenlit it. And then Quesada went, oh, no, this is an ongoing, this is great. And suddenly everyone in the room was saying, we're doing this book, this is a great ongoing book. And Tom Brevoort and I were the only people in the room going, it's a 6-issue mini, it's not ongoing.
But why? Why should it be a 6-issue mini when they're offering you the chance to do this for the rest of your life?
Because I'm the stupidest man on earth. It's that simple. I was like, I pictured how it was going to be for 6 issues, and that's the way it was in my mind. And then we just said, if people really like it, maybe we'll do some more. And the minute I started working on it, I was like, what was I thinking? I have a million ideas for this book. Let's keep going. So there's a really good chance that once this comes out, if the numbers are high enough, we might just ignore the fact that it's supposed to be a mini. We just might steamroll ahead and just keep going and going and going and doing lots of stuff with the initiative.
And when is it actually supposed to start?
Initiative will start in April.
Okay.
And when we're saying it's the Marvel Universe after Civil War, it's the Marvel Universe. It's going to feature characters, because it's Avengers, the initiative, it's going to have some key Avengers in it. This is the book where you will find Hank Pym. This is Yellow Jacket, War Machine, Justice, Henry Gyrick are all going to be key players in the initiative, and they'll be in there month in and month out. And then there's going to be some new characters coming in. Anyone who read Arkham Asylum that I did knows that I love making new characters. So the same way we had all these new inmates, we're going to have some new characters being brought in through the initiative, being trained to be superheroes. On top of these guys, whenever the camera goes a little to the left or a little to the right, you will see the Marvel Universe. Everybody's going to be in this thing. You're going to Stingray and Red Wolf and Thor Girl and Ultra Girl. Everybody. Everyone. Thor Girl is going to be in. Everybody's going to be in this book. So when
who wasn't killed in Civil War?
Yes. It's really going to be the most important supporting cast member in Avengers the Initiative is the Marvel Universe. So anybody could be in this book at any time doing initiative stuff. It's going to be pretty cool.
So the question is, what can you tell us that isn't vague about the concept of this book? For example, it's called Avengers the Initiative. Does this mean that this is the new Avengers team?
Well, you're going to see after Civil War, and I'm not letting cats out of the bag telling you this, there's going to be two teams of the Avengers. There's going to be the Mighty Avengers, and there's going to be the New Avengers. And I believe the lineup has already been revealed for the New Avengers. So you're going to get Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Spider-Man and Wolverine. You're going to have, that's going to be the New Avengers. And the Mighty Avengers, you're going to have more characters in it like Ms. Marvel and Black Widow and Sentry and,
So the Mighties are more like the traditional Avengers, and the New Avengers are more like Marvel Knights.
Mighty Avengers are Arms Akimbo Avengers.
Yeah.
New
Avengers. Triple A.
New Avengers are more, in the shadow Avengers.
And so where does this leave Initiative Avengers? That's an entirely different team.
It leaves Avengers the Initiative in April. It's where it leaves. It's really hard to talk about.
But it's a different group of characters than either of these two.
You are going to see characters showing up who might be in one team or the. You're going to see some stuff. You're going to see some stuff going on.
Can I ask you about some things I picked out of an interview you've already done?
Sure,
about
go
this?
for it.
You said that one of the premises of this book series is that after the Civil War, you said there's a price to be paid for people who chose one particular side. And I believe you said which side that was.
I'm not going to say it again here. You're going to have to check the internet because I've been taken out behind the shed. And Tom, I'm not lying. Tom Brevoort has a crowbar in his office. He is an honest-to-God crowbar.
Is he really the wrecker?
Yeah, it is. It is not like one of these fake toys you got from the Superman line where you can bend it with styrofoam. It's a real solid metal, crowbar, and he wields it. So I got to see that up close for that interview.
Wow.
So I'm not going to see it again. And speaking of that, you'll also notice that most of my books have been coming in on time now.